Sitting for a time, and then you can start the timer.
Alright, so hi. For those of you who don't know, my name is Rheynellen Cuaderno, and I'm a current intern this year, and obviously I'm running for IVP. I want to be next year's IVP because Fusion as a whole, I originally wasn't supposed to join Fusion, but I was kind of forced to indirectly because of Christian. But from that, because of him, like I wouldn't have met all the people in this club that has become more of a family to me, and that has made this, my first year in college, very like an easier transition to college, and has made it more like fun and like entertaining, and just in general more just fun. But so I've worked closely with board this year, especially like my mentor Jasmine, who tends to drag me along to a lot of her board duties because of mentor-mentee time. So there was times when we would often go shopping for meetings or like things like that. And I've also worked with Sandra, who I would often consult whenever there was issues with our Fusion intern class or just in general. I've gone out of my way to be as active as possible to help out as much as I can and to just be involved in pretty much everything that I can as an intern. My hopes for the intern class is to give them a better understanding of what it means to be a board member because, no offense Sandra, but the shadow program, I didn't learn much from it as an intern, which I really hoped for. So that's one thing I want to improve. And for families, like I do love that it gave everyone like another way of forming bonds and creating new friendship, especially with people who are newer to the club and wasn't able to create those bonds that they would have. So being IVP would also allow me to not only help Fusion grow, but myself, because coming into college I wasn't very confident, and as my mentor knows, I'm a very indecisive person at times, but it has been getting better because of how active I am and because of how much being involved in Fusion means to me. So the ways that I would implement these things in order to make Fusion better, because Fusion isn't perfect, nobody is, but the ways I plan on improving that is by showing the intern class that it takes a lot to be a board member, so they should really appreciate all the work that goes into being a board member and how much time and effort it really takes. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Steph, go for it first.
Since you're an intern this year, how would you improve the internship program?
So in terms of improving the internship program, I would first kind of like not make them, but I would have them adhere more to the guidelines that the actual board does follow. So like having weekly updates to make sure that they're staying on top of academics, their personal life is okay, and that they understand the responsibilities of being on board and of being an intern and how time-consuming that it can be to be a board member. So I want them to really have a grasp on that, as well as improve on the shadow program so that they actually get a decent understanding of what it means to be like a treasurer or like a secretary or even like the president, IVP, EVP. Like I just want them to have a better understanding so that when they decide to, if they do decide to run for board, the year after, they would go in knowing exactly what it is they need to do and what they need to do to get it done.
Yes, Sid?
So you said in your speech that you're indecisive, but you're working on it. And for board, you would have to make the big decision since you will be second in power, next president. So how will you improve on this indecisiveness, especially when it comes to last-minute decisions that you will have to make?
My indecisiveness in general it only really is more towards like smaller things that aren't as important, like food, like when I hang out with my mentor, or like simple things like that. But when it comes to something that I feel strongly about, so like an example would be our intern fundraiser. We were having quite a big debate about whether we should do donuts or boba, because there was an issue at first where we didn't really understand whether it was going to be like an experience type fundraiser or for profit, etc. So I felt really strongly about it because I wasn't sure how well donuts would sell on a hot day compared to like boba, because everybody loves boba, or they would drink it at any point of the day. So I was having this issue with Jesse, and it's like It's for bigger things, I'm not as indecisive, especially when I feel strongly about it. It's only smaller things that I have that indecisiveness about.
I have a question. What experience could you bring to that you feel would benefit the IVP, or that would bring you to do a good job at that role?
Wait, can you say that again? Sorry.
What experience would you have to bring to the IVP position?
So being an intern this year and knowing how well board works from going to all the board meetings and working closely with a lot of the board members, that experience alone gives me, has given me a lot of insight into what I want to improve next year for when I'm on board. And
Oh, that's